Okay, for this tutorial we're going to be looking at using TikZ with LaTeX, and we've only got one page here. This is the output, and you might want to look this over. This is helpful, in understanding how to put your own TeX files together, and also to go through the video and understand what we're doing here. So here's the code that put that page together. And let me see how many lines we got. It looks like about 51 lines of code, and you've even got some blank lines in there. But again, that's the document. We're going to start out simple though. So here, if you look at line 1, we're starting out with the document class of an article, and we're using 12-point type. And on line 2, you see that we're using the TikZ package. You have to include that if you want to use TikZ graphics. And we begin our document on line 4, and the TikZ environment starts on line 6 and it goes through line 18. And the only thing we've got so far is a bunch of nodes. And actually they're not going to do anything, but we're going to be using those shortly. So it does nothing. All you've got is a page number 1 at the bottom. That's all there is to it. But now we're gonna kind of connect things up. So we start out on line 7 with coordinate, and then a bunch of children and children of children and such below there. And now you can kind of see that we've got some lines kind of connecting things together. But it's still a jumbled mess. There's a lot of work that needs to be done. So let's go ahead and make some graphical modifications here, and kind of look that code over. And yeah, it's something. I mean, we're starting to make a little progress. But you can see we're using the geometry package, and we're changing the margin 0.2 inches from the left side, and we're using the no page number package on line 3, and that just means that we're not going to have a page number at the bottom, which we don't need. It's only one page. Okay, so you can see it's kind of been moved up to the upper left, and there is no page number anymore. Okay. And now we're going to use the TikZ library trees, and you can see we're forking down on line 22, so things are a little bit different now, and you can kind of see that the layout is different. So that changed, and we're going to kind of widen the lines. So you see at the end of line 22, line width is 0.75 millimeters, so we're using wider lines, and you can see that now. Okay, and I think this is we're just kind of setting things up. We're actually not doing much at this point, but you can see lines 10, 11, and 12. We're setting styles for top, middle, and bottom, and rectangles, and you can see on these lines with the arrows pointing to them, you got top, middle, and bottom for the nodes. It's not actually doing much. We're just kind of setting things up now. Okay, and now we're changing some of the line widths, and we're also using arrows and dashed lines. So let's go ahead and, or not dash lines yet. We're still holding off on the dash lines, but you can kind of see the arrows there. Okay, and let's go ahead and make some more changes. You got some rounded corners for the bottom level, and here we're adding the dashed lines in. So now you should be able to see it. See the dashed lines at the bottom there, and oh yeah, we got the colors too. So we changed the colors using blue, red, green, and now we're going to scale things up. So you see on line 9, scale equal 1.36. So we're scaling up by 36%. So it's a little bit a little bit larger now. And we're going to add a grid behind it. So you can see on line 23, and we're starting a grid, and you can see the grid in the background, which kind of centers everything in the middle of it. So we got that grid, and let's see what we're doing here. Yeah, this is going to look the same. It's not going to appear to be different, but we're using some variables with the new command. You got half width, half height, and offset y, and we use those. And the reason why we're using variables is because we can build on the variables. We don't have to use it just with the grid. We can use it in other commands, which is what we're going to do next. So here you can see we're using those same variables on the first line, which is lines 28 through 29 of the code, and the second draw line is 30 through 31 in the code. And you can see that we're using those variables, the half width, the half height, and and one we use half width and one we use half height. But let's go ahead and we're also setting the opacity to a much lower level. So opacity on lines 28 and 30 is set to 0.16, and these are going to be arrows. You'll be able to see through these. So there you can see the two gray arrows, one pointing straight up in the middle and the other going through the middle to the right. So that's that. And we're going to change the font size here on line 9, simple large command, and that changes the font. So now we're using a larger font. And I think that's it. That's it for this this tutorial. And you can see the finished document here. And that's an introduction to using TikZ with TeX.